Suge Knight believes that their rumored to be impending divorce is a result of the FBI giving the Daredevil actor footage of the Jenny from the Block singer engaging in illicit activity.
That's a story. So, there's definitely a tape out there. Definitely. Somebody gave me like a 2-minute tape of a female that was allegedly JLo on it.
Okay, so we all have been wondering why Bennifer 2.0 did not actually work out. Although there has been lots of speculation and quote-unquote sources have been coming out saying JLo might have been the reason. But to be honest, nothing has been making sense. Well, the missing piece just solved this puzzle in a way no one could have ever imagined. It looks like those infamous X tapes everyone was talking about a few months ago when the Diddy saga unfolded was the main reason JLo had to part ways, cause Ben had seen what JLo had really been doing to get that fame. Y'all, this tea is piping. So let's get into it. Suge Knight. Y'all, this JLo drama has just hit a new milestone, and no one could have predicted who has joined this conversation. You see, Suge Knight's got a theory, and it's as wild as you'd expect. He's pointing fingers at Jennifer Lopez, saying that her divorce from Ben Affleck might be tied to some mysterious tapes the FBI supposedly snagged during a raid on Sean Diddy Combs' homes. Yeah, you heard that right, X tapes. In a recent episode of his prison podcast, Collect Calls with Suge Knight, the former record exec and convicted felon, is stirring the pot, suggesting that JLo's appearance in these tapes could be the real reason behind the split. Now, if there's any truth to this, it's no wonder things might be going south between Jennifer and Ben. Who knows what's really on those tapes, or how deep this drama goes? But if Suge's talking, you know it's bound to get messy. Say what you may, people, because Suge Knight has confirmed the existence of those tapes back when the drama first blew up.
I seen the JLo tape.
You have?
Yeah.
Is it for real?
Wait a second, you've seen the JLo tape? Really? Who's on it with her? Who's having with P. Diddy?
In his recent episode, Suge Knight didn't mince words as he brought up Jennifer Lopez's alleged involvement in the 1999 nightclub shooting, where Moses Shine Barrow took the fall for Diddy. Suge claimed that the tape seized by the FBI could be holding some serious dirt on JLo, possibly even explaining the sudden cracks in her marriage to Ben Affleck. If Suge's right, Lopez could be looking at more than just a high-profile divorce. She might be facing some explosive allegations from her past. They go raid Puffy's house, and they get all these videos of JLo doing this and JLo doing that. And they know the fact that JLo lied and said that the firearm was Shine's or whatever and sent that man to prison, destroyed his life, and she knew it was Puffy's. The former Death Row Records CEO, who's already serving time for a fatal hit and run in 2015, isn't holding back. He claimed that Ben Affleck has somehow gotten his hands on those FBI seized tapes, and let's just say what's on them is far from pretty. According to Suge, the information on those tapes is so explosive that it's been tearing Bennifer apart from the inside. If Affleck's really seen what's on them, it's no wonder their relationship is in deep trouble. Suge said, "I'm quite sure they, FBI, probably called, 'It's a white man who got respect in the white world.' I'm sure they said, 'We want to show you some things about your wife.'" Many of you might be wondering as to how did Suge get his hands on such sensitive material when Diddy was rising to power? Well, Suge claimed that he had his ways. And to drive his point further, he claimed that he was the only one who had the information and didn't turn her over. It looks like Diddy was holding the footage as an insurance for rainy days, but no one could have thought that the rainy days would be the same for both of them, right?
But how did you get it?
Well, you know, certain things you just don't talk about. But I say,
Really?
But out of respect to JLo, if you listen, I'm the one who didn't turn you over.
Suge Knight wasn't just throwing shade. He claimed that he saw the whole mess coming from miles away. According to him, JLo was never going to stick around with her first or second husbands. Suge said she was always in the game for the big fish, and those guys just didn't measure up. But when she met Ben, everything seemed perfect, until Affleck allegedly started uncovering some of the shady stuff she did to climb the ladder. Knight basically said that JLo's past had finally caught up with her, and it was no surprise to him that another marriage was on the rocks.
What's the difference between having a dancer with a little money and a dancer with no money? She still have a dancer.
Right.
So pretty soon I think JLo finna graduate from the dancers and get some, you know.
Well, fans claim that they were not celebrating Bennifer 2.0 as the media portrayed it to be. Yeah, I wasn't down with the Bennifer bridal showers either. Woo! Woo-wee, I can just imagine what they have on her. Yes, an earlier husband had a tape and stuff he wanted to release, and they were in court over it. This is so crazy. I have never been a JLo fan, ever, or a Puffy fan. JLo has had a slew of scandals since her early days of not being a good amiga. She's always been a friend to the men, though. LOL, Ben was a trophy for her and her mom. They love Ben and her family. JLo and Diddy relationship and how it ended. Back in 1999, when JLo met Diddy while working on her If You Had My Love music video, things escalated quickly between them. By December that year, they found themselves entangled in a Manhattan nightclub drama that ended in firearm discharge, leaving 3 people injured. JLo, Diddy, his bodyguard Anthony Wolf Jones, and 21-year-old rapper Jamal Shine Barrow were at the center of it all. After the chaos, Combs, Lopez, and Jones led police on a wild chase through New York City, only to have cops find a stolen firearm in the car. One of the victims, Natanya Rubin, has always insisted that Combs was the one who pulled the trigger that night. Though Lopez and Combs were arrested and initially charged, the charges against JLo mysteriously disappeared. Combs, Jones, and Barrow, however, weren't so lucky. While Combs and Jones eventually walked free after a grueling trial, Barrow wasn't so fortunate. He was found guilty on multiple charges and ended up serving nearly 9 years. Now, with the emergence of the mysterious tapes, all eyes are back on JLo. She's one of the few people who knows what really happened that night. And with Diddy's saga unfolding, she might just find herself roped into the mess once again. And things are getting progressively worse for Diddy, and by extension JLo, because Rubin has offered to undergo surgery to prove the power couple was involved in the incident. I'm willing to have a doctor remove a part of the 9mm bullet in my face so they can use it as evidence if need be for this trial. Who better to tell you what happened than the person who got hit smack dab in between my eyes? I live a simple, quiet, risk-adverse life, so if I should meet an untimely demise, it would require a deep investigation. I understand the peril of what I'm exposing. In 2008, Natanya Rubin sought legal action against Diddy, suing him for a staggering $130 million. In her lawsuit, she said, "It is my assertion wholeheartedly that Mr. Combs was inappropriately charged originally. His charges should have mirrored that of Mr. Jamal Shine Barrow. He should have been charged with attempted reckless endangerment, criminal prosecution of a weapon, and firing that weapon in an open environment." However, by 2011, Combs had quietly settled with all 3 victims, including Rubin, for an undisclosed amount. Fans saw this quick settlement as a clear sign of guilt on Diddy's part. As for JLo, many believe her relationship with Diddy during those years was more of a facade, and it was only after their breakup that she began to share her true feelings about that horrid night in 1999. You see, the pair eventually split in 2001, and Lopez has remained mostly tight-lipped about their relationship. After their breakup, she did confirm that Combs had been unfaithful during their time together. "I was in this relationship with Puff, where I was totally crying, crazy, and going nuts. It really took my whole life in a tailspin. I can't remember right now, but I won't say it didn't happen." Reflecting on the infamous 1999 nightclub shooting, Lopez described it as a complete nightmare. In a July 2000 interview with British Elle, saying, "I was scared to death in the car. I had absolutely no idea what was going on. No one did." Now the thing is, JLo has never really severed ties with Diddy, until you know the raid. You see, back in 2019, several years after their breakup, Lopez reflected on what she called the Puffy era in an interview with the Breakfast Club radio show. "The Puffy era was just kind of a crazy, heightened time in my life. You know, Puffy and I both grew up in the Bronx. He had been in the music business and had all this success. I was just starting and making my first album when I met him. He became kind of a mentor to me in that moment. We had this kind of crazy, tumultuous relationship that ended in a bang. It was definitely a moment, but I felt like it was necessary. He was meant to be in my life at that moment to teach me what I needed to know about the music business, about what kind of artist I wanted to be in the music industry." You see, Jennifer Lopez's radio silence on Diddy's legal drama has been nothing short of eyebrow-raising. Now, with Suge Knight spilling all kinds of juicy secrets, some are wondering if JLo is gearing up for her own legal showdown. It's like the calm before the storm, and you can almost hear the popcorn popping in anticipation. Fans believe that if Suge keeps stirring the pot, it looks like JLo might soon find herself dodging more than just headlines. JLo filed for divorce. She's trying to make things work. Alright folks, the papers are in, and Jennifer Lopez is officially jumping ship from her whirlwind marriage with Ben Affleck after just 2 years. Word on the street is that Ben allegedly refused to support her if things went south with the Diddy investigation. Ever since he allegedly saw that rumored video, he hasn't trusted a word she says. Now JLo is calling it quits, filing for divorce, and ditching the Affleck name altogether. Looks like this love story is wrapping up faster than anyone saw coming.
Jennifer Lopez finally files for divorce from Ben Affleck, something we all saw coming for a long time, but in the end, a lot of major twists to this story.
Jennifer Lopez has officially cited irreconcilable differences as the reason for her split from Ben Affleck, claiming that their marriage was over long before the public even caught wind of it. She listed their separation date as of April 26, 2024. Meaning the couple had already called it quits before the breakup rumors began swirling in May. And here's where it gets messy. With no prenup in place, this could lead to a fierce legal battle over their combined fortunes. It seemed like Jennifer, who's always had an eye on the prize, is gearing up to protect her $400 million empire. But let's not forget, this isn't her first rodeo. This is her 4th failed marriage. And one can't help but wonder if she's more interested in her wealth than in love. Sources have claimed that Ben Affleck has finally come to his senses about his failing marriage to the singer and was well aware that they were headed for a divorce. If there was a way to divorce on grounds of temporary insanity, he would. He feels like the last 2 years was just a fever dream, and he's come to his senses now and understands there's just no way this is going to work. However, because JLo needs to save face, her inner circle is spinning the narrative, pinning the blame on Ben. Some are saying he couldn't handle her fame, while others claim she was fed up with his behavior. But let's be real, it doesn't quite add up. They say things like, she's an international superstar, and he acted like it came as a surprise that they would be followed around. Jennifer said she was tired of being humiliated by Ben, and she waited until the 2-year anniversary because she wanted it to sting. But it did not sting him. He's been done for a long time, and deep down, she knows this. He let her have this so she wouldn't look like the villain. The timing of the divorce was a big F you to Ben. It seems more like a desperate attempt to shift the spotlight away from the real issues. The whole thing reeks of damage control, and it's hard not to see through the smoke and mirrors. You see, it doesn't really matter what these quote-unquote sources are saying now, because they all had their doubts about the marriage to Ben Affleck. Jane Fonda, ever the protective friend, saw the cracks long before the public did. In Lopez's 2022 documentary, The Greatest Love Story Never Told, Fonda shared her concerns, admitting she was genuinely invested in the relationship's success. But when headlines started popping up about Affleck looking unhappy, Fonda got really scared. Lopez might have laughed it off, joking that her husband was the internet's symbol of the beleaguered man. But the truth was clear to those closest to them. Ben was miserable with Jennifer, and everyone around them could see it.
However, this is my concern. Like, it feels too much like you're trying to prove something instead of just living it. You know, every other photograph is the two of you kissing, the two of you hugging.
Looks like Ben Affleck was way more done with his marriage than we thought. He's already diving back into the dating pool before the divorce papers even hit the judge's desk. Word is he's been cozying up with Kit Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s daughter, and the timing couldn't be more eyebrow-raising. I mean, dating a political bigwig's daughter right after the split? That's not exactly laying low. It's like Ben traded one type of nonstop attention for another, and honestly, it's a bit wild. According to Page 6, Affleck hated the media attention he received during his relationship with Jennifer Lopez. But there could be another big reason for the split. He has never, and seemingly will never, give himself over completely to another person, a source told the outlet. The kind of big love Jennifer believes in, that sort of all-consuming devotion, Ben played along for a while and wanted to be part of it, but it's just not who he is. You see, the twice-engaged couple got married over the weekend at the A Little White Wedding Chapel in Las Vegas. Lopez confirmed via her On the JLo fan newsletter that the two had in fact wed, and she shared photos, videos, and details from the big night. While the wedding wasn't the glamorous, over-the-top ceremony fans would expect from Bennifer, Lopez said it was the best possible wedding they could have imagined. The bride and groom made use of a dress from an old movie and a jacket from Ben's closet to wear for the ceremony. When love is real, the only thing that matters in marriage is one another and the promise we make to love, care, understand, be patient, loving, and good to one another. We had that, and so much more. Best night of our lives. Lopez and Affleck first met in 2002 on the set of the romantic comedy JLo, while Lopez was still married to her second husband, dancer Chris Judd. Although the movie flopped at the box office, sparks were definitely flying between Lopez and Affleck. The pair went public with their relationship shortly after Lopez's divorce from Judd. We didn't try to have a public relationship, we just happened to be together at the birth of the tabloids, and it was like, oh my god, it was just a lot of pressure. I felt like, okay, this is it. But sometimes I feel like what you think people are and how you see them when you love them is different than when they reveal later. However, the duo called off their wedding just one day before the ceremony, and the American Idol star went on to marry Mark Anthony, while Affleck began dating Jennifer Garner. I think different time, different thing. Who knows what could have happened, but there was a genuine love there. Anyway, fans claim that JLo could have had a taste of her own medicine for once, now that Ben has moved on. Now JLo can get a taste of her own medicine. Maybe now she knows what her ex-husbands felt like when she cheated on them and moved on to the next one without taking a breath. While going back down memory lane, she was cheating on her second husband with Ben Affleck while they were filming JLo. She rubbed her affair with Ben in her husband's face as she moved on quickly and publicly with Ben. When Ben dumped her the first time, she started cheating with Mark Anthony while he was still married. We all know she married Mark Anthony the day after his divorce was finalized. What goes around comes around. That's all for today. We hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, be sure to like, subscribe for more videos like this.